Hey everybody, welcome back to the Full Circle Network. I'm editor-in-chief of FullCircleCinema.com, Jackson Hayes. Today we're here to review episode 3 of season 2 of Titans, titled Ghosts. And today I'll be joined by my managing editor, Marcos Melendez.
Hey, what's up, guys? We're back this week with the third episode of Titans. Coming back after the second episode, which was a pretty great review. Once again, we're going to be going into spoilers, so make sure to watch the episode first.
Yep. Come back here when you're done, and then we'll be here to discuss spoilers. So, Marcos, let's kick off. This one picked right up where last week left off in that cliffhanger where Jason and Gar find out who Rose's father is, and it kind of picks up right from there, and then goes into the Dr. Light stuff. So let's just get your initial thoughts on the episode.
It was okay. I mean, especially compared to the second episode, this is definitely not up to par. But I think it's mainly because some of the things stalled, some stories kind of just were pretty boring, if I'm being honest, and some sequences kind of just didn't work. There's one main one that we just kept talking about over the week.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll save it for now. We'll get there in a minute.
But overall, it was okay. So what do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm probably leaning a little more negatively than you did. I thought it was really choppy. I thought there was some bad dialogue. I thought definitely some bad sequences. Just some unnecessary stuff. It got good at the very end. There was some really exciting stuff at the end, but we waited the entire episode for it to get there. There were some frustrating moments in between where we were like, well, to me, that the part that happened at the end with Jason and Deathstroke could have happened so much earlier, but Dick was being so stubborn the whole episode about having Jason come out with him, even though he's probably the best asset he has. Because he's the only other one who knows anything about Deathstroke other than the original Titans, and half of them are really old and don't want to fight anymore, and Jason's the only one who's spry and is ready to go. And I get why he's holding them back, but he's the only one, right? But he's the only one with experience, and he's the only one who's been taught by Batman about who these people are and what they do. He knows who Dr. Light is, he knows who Deathstroke is, he knows what they're about, and it's just kind of frustrating to have him sideline the entire time. And I get it, I understand why he's hot-headed, but come on. Give the kid the benefit of the doubt. Batman chose him for a reason, and he clearly knows what he's doing. But that was one small aspect. But
yeah, we're just gonna assume that's just for the episode. Next episode is gonna be beaten up pretty bad, so he's probably gonna be
listen, I would never expect Deathstroke or Jason to beat Deathstroke. I would 100% of the time, given how young Jason is, I would definitely say that Deathstroke would for sure get the upper hand on him. I'm disappointed that we didn't get to see them fight though, because I feel like it would have been interesting toe to toe. Not next week. No, probably not. I know there'll be a lot of flashbacks next week, but so yeah, that's where the episode. That was the end of the episode. That was probably the best part. But in the beginning, we get these storylines coming together. So Hawk and Dawn and Donna meet up at Titan's Tower after the Dr. Light attacks last week to meet up with Dick, and then they all kind of get acquainted, and then they find out who Deathstroke's daughter's there, and everyone's like, well, Dick was kind of a controversial figure this episode, I'd say.
Yeah, he makes some interesting decisions, especially with Rose Wilson, knowing that Slade Wilson is pretty much the reason why the team disbanded in the first place. So it was interesting for sure. I think that it was kind of interesting because I felt like the episode kept going too long, and then Rose wasn't really doing anything. Then they had a weird training sequence.
She got that weird thing. Yeah, those her and Dick had that weird sequence towards the end where he was getting out his frustration, which was really weird. He looked weird fighting that dummy. I don't know what kind of moves he was doing, but it looked pretty stupid. Really stiff. Yeah, really stiff. And maybe that was the point, but I don't know. He looked really he didn't know what he was doing. And then Rose comes in and they have the choreography is great, and you could the stunts. I'll never talk bad about the stunts on this show.
Yeah.
But it just kind of came out of nowhere, and the dialogue was clunky, and it was what are they even talking about?
Yeah.
I
kind of just filled in, especially with the last episode was too short. This one's the right length, but not much goes on.
Right. We're getting the Dr. Light stuff, and I will say I really do like the Dr. Light character and what they're doing with him. I forget the actor's name, but he's from Ozark.
Michael Mosley, I believe.
There you go, Michael Mosley. He was really good in this episode. I was really fascinated with they went with the douchey kind of, he's kind of a prick. He's just kind of in it for money or glory or whatever, and now he's just mad these people put him in jail and he wants to get back at him, which is fine motivation for me. It's not I'm going to end the world kind of stupid bad guy stuff. It's just well, these guys put me in prison. I'm going to beat them up. So
And we get most of it from his scene with Slade, which is actually quite funny. It's probably the funniest part.
It was very funny. It was very well done. I really like that dialogue scene. I would have liked more Slade, but I understand he's the menacing. He's not going to talk. He's not going to, he's not going to let all his cards on the table at this point.
Yeah.
But I was a little let down with the Slade this episode, just because like they're really drawing out, like letting his character open up, and I'm like, come on, like if he's the main bad guy, like give me something here. Like obviously it's going to unearth itself as the weeks go on, but. I kind of want to know.
It's going to be based on Aqualad, so we'll get something there. But the week after is actually titled Deathstroke, so we'll finally get.
Yeah. I mean, we're gonna get it. I know, but I just feel like they're dragging it out because we met him in the first. He's been in every episode, and it's been like continually, like he hasn't spoken, he hasn't really done anything. I mean, that part's a little frustrating. But so let's. I guess we can jump to the sequence because that's kind of the main crux of this episode, is when Dick, Dawn, Hank, and Donna go after Dr. Light, and let's start at the beginning. Marcos, they go straight up in street clothes to fight this villain. No secret identities, like no nothing.
Absorbing the
super powerful metahuman.
Entire city.
So they meet him at the stadium because Gar finds out where he is. He's at the stadium, and then they go there. None of them suited up, and their plan is for Dick to like be a distraction while the other three attempt to take him out, but then he immediately finds out they're all there. I don't know. The plan was confusing from the get-go.
Yeah, I don't think there was a plan.
Was it a plan? Was it kind of just let's just see what happens kind of thing? I don't. But to me, it didn't feel like these guys had faced this kind of guy before. They weren't ready for any of his attacks. They weren't like prepared.
Yeah,
all four of them just ran head on at him, like they thought they could just knock him out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what their plan was. And then, of course, like there's like a part where he's just like flinging light at them, and they're just going one by one.
All four
like,
just run straight at him and have to dive out of the way.
I got this.
And then, Hank being the big brooding guy, he's not able to escape it and gets hit, obviously, because he's not agile like Dick or
and
Dick
for some
or Donna.
reason, they thought wearing jeans was like going to protect them.
They all were in jeans. They weren't even. There was no defense. They just ran at him. I don't understand. Had this been the B Squad, had this been Raven and Garfield and Jason, maybe then I would have been like, oh man, yeah, they've never faced this guy before. They won't know about his powers. These four have put him in prison. Like these are the ones that put him in jail, and they don't know how to fight him.
I mean, look, Wonder Girl, she runs towards him.
Yikes.
Looked pretty bad.
The VFX on that were horrible. They were awful.
She like swung the
motorcycle. Listen, her picking
which
up the car looked good. It looked good. Like when she first grabbed it with the lasso.
Yeah.
Then they cut.
Lands like
they cut to him
like
running away weirdly in his dumb suit. I mean, the suit is horrible.
And then,
I thought at first that the suit was a when the promo images came out, I assumed it was something like he'd made on the fly, like he just needed a suit. That appears to be his main suit. Like the one
to be fair,
used.
we're not 100% sure because
they didn't reveal that for sure, but that's what it feels like, at least in this context.
Because apparently, look, we're gonna get the OG Dr. Light,
Jacob Finley at some point.
Could
this
be
season.
a hero. Maybe perhaps there's an actual suit out there.
Sure, but this seems to be the suit that he used when he originally fought the Titans.
So far.
Right, and then back to the point. She throws it, and it looked horrible. The effects were horrible. It just like fell on him. It didn't. Yeah. There was no, it looked bad. It looked bad.
But then Dick Grayson, our Nightwing, comes in to save him. He just stands there for half a second.
I had some stops. Really, the dialogue was one. Yeah, the dialogue was one thing in this episode. The editing in this scene, oh my god, it was so bad. It was so bad. They cut to Dick. Donna used super speed to catch up to Dr. Light. Then she immediately throws the motorcycle, and then they cut to Dick like he's already there. He had to have been so far away. I don't understand. The editing was really weird. And then the bus shows up, and he just escapes. I don't know. I don't.
Then he's
I don't know exactly what happened.
His escape. Like, what was he gonna do?
Hank blames Dick for letting him escape when Donna was the one who crushed him.
Yeah. I don't know.
But the bus, I don't know what happened with the bus. He wasn't threatening the bus, but somehow Dick saved the entire bus of people.
The guy driving the bus was pretty aware, so he kind of stopped pretty early.
He was like, "What's going on over here?"
That's the hero there.
Right, but he was like, I don't know. I don't know if there was something cut out of that scene or edited out. I don't know. It was very weird. That entire sequence was really off for me, which sucked because this was the OG Titans getting back together.
Yeah, exactly.
This was their first time getting back. Obviously, they're not suited up and everything, but they were finally back together. And it's like, oh man, this is going to be interesting. They're them coming out to fight. And had it been one thing like they're rusty, but that's not what it was. They were just being morons.
Yeah, there's no strategy to it. The only thing that they did was like say code words, like, oh, I'm going through here.
Right. Oh, I'm in section B. I'll be, blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay,
Like,
okay.
What's that gonna do? But yeah, the entire sequence was kind of sucked. It was in the middle of the episode. That's where like the big
Right. It was the
action's
big like
supposed to
climax
be.
of the episode.
Yeah, and then they come back. It's all depressing. Dick has a really good scene with Hank.
That scene was the dialogue. There's great character moments in this episode every time you watch
Yeah,
it. There was some great Hank and Dawn stuff when Hank is talking about how he wants to get back in the game, but she knows he can't. But you could tell like he wants to be a Titan again.
Exactly.
Like he's like this is what's for me, but he's like I can't do it because the addiction and all that. And I hope they get that worked out. I'm interested in it.
I think that's definitely going to be something that we see as the show goes along.
Yeah. As the season goes on, I think hopefully they work it out and they're able to stay because I really enjoy their characters over the 2 seasons. I thought it was really good. So we also had an entire subplot that we have talked about that was kind of boring. So it really wasn't really something that we really got into. I mean, last week Corey was kidnapped by what is it, Tamaran?
Correct.
Tamaranian. What is the name of the people?
Tamaran, but
so Tamaranians.
perhaps.
So it was a member of her royal guard. We ended up finding out that took her captive and is attempting to bring her back to her home planet. I didn't know. Apparently, that we know now, she has all of her memories back.
I assume that over the months she's that's something.
But it's not like they blatantly have said that in the last 2 episodes, right? Because
yeah, but I'll just accept it. Like,
no. I know. I'm not too hung up about it. I was just confused because she clearly did know everything again.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of part of the soft reboot where they're not dealing with the stuff that happened last season. That whole mystery of how she got here, like they're completely thrown that away.
At least they showed the ship. I thought that ship was long gone.
I mean, they've completely thrown away the season 1 storyline about how she like landed here and was here somehow. I don't know, whatever.
At least, I think
right. But
at least they got over with it for now in this episode.
Right, they got it quick. I didn't mind the actor, and I didn't mind the interaction between the two. It was just really a drag overall. The entire story. It was literally
just them walking around and eating. So it wasn't
right.
much.
It was just them like bickering, and he's an old flame of hers, and they want her back, and Blackfire wants her to come back, which obviously didn't come back later this season because we know Blackfire's appearing. But it just felt out of place. It felt like kind of unnecessary, and I understand you can't have all the characters together, and she definitely would have solved the Dr. Light problem had she been in that scene. She would have just destroyed him. Also because she's 100 times smarter than them and wouldn't have ran at him like that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she's going back to San Francisco to help out Raven because Raven has something going on. She had a weird scene.
She has a weird
with
scene
with Jason.
I like the entire training sequence.
The training sequence was good. Her effects was good too, and I was interested to see that. Jason had some weird dialogue in that scene, but that's
yeah, he goes a little overboard. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, he's
fine with them afterwards.
He got really mad at her. He got insanely mad at her. Was like, "Stay away from me, you freak." Then after everything calms down, then he's like, you should get that checked out by what did he say, a priest?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It was kind of back and forth. I don't know. He's a kid, I guess. But
and
yeah,
also we get that last scene I'm just going to bring up again, which is probably the highlight of the episode. It's so good. Just because they're so creative with his fighting and...
Oh, his fighting was so good. Jason's such a good character. He was the standout of this episode, 100%. I mean, him and Dick fight, the back and forth bickering was good. I was really on his side most of the time.
Yeah.
Because it was like, dude, like it's like you have this, like he's such a good asset.
And
like
Dick
Dick just doesn't care. He's like, oh, he's a kid. Oh, it was a good scene. I like that scene where he just threw him down because it was the fight was I mean, we knew that Dick would beat Jason in a fight, but Jason just fights differently. It's a different style, and you could see that when he was fighting Dr. Light. I mean, he goes for every move he can get and take you down.
Yeah. Overall, it was okay.
Yeah, I mean, the side plot was a little dull. And the main sequence of the episode was really really poorly done, and the Rose stuff was out of nowhere and kind of weird, and the Raven stuff, there was a lot of stuff going on. The only person who really didn't get anything to do was Beast Boy, but he ended up having something at the end, I guess, a little bit with him and Jason. Their friendship, I'm digging. Yeah, I'm digging the 2 boys hanging out. Believable. Yeah, for sure. They have things in common, so you definitely understand where they're coming from.
I guess next week is going to be Aqualad, so we're going to get more flashbacks,
I'm finally start to unearth some of these mysteries that Donna like went off on Dick at one point.
Yeah, I'm telling you how Slade killed Aqualad.
I mean, that has to be it. It has to 100%. I don't know what else would make her so upset. We saw in the trailer that they were romantically involved, at least somewhat. So
yeah,
Yeah, so he's probably going to bite it next week, which is a bummer. But something we did see that we can talk about very quickly and a little speculate on is the fact that, I mean, you pointed this out to me, is that Hank at one point is sitting in front of the costumes, or the displays for the costumes that aren't there. And there's 7. And we know of 5 original members of the Titans, so that leaves 2. And I mean, it's safe to assume that Roy
I don't think they will specify for a while, just to like leave it open.
Right,
So
and it's safe to assume that Roy was probably involved because
probably.
Donna knows him so well, but that leaves 1. And I mean, there's really only one name that I can think of that kind of fits the bill there. But
maybe Wally West is stuck in the Speed Force.
Wally West, he could be running around. Who knows?
So I mentioned a Lilith.
Yeah, Lilith. I'm not sure how deep cut they would go with an original member. You know, it's
interesting.
Because this is like the original team, the original member. I just don't know if they would cut all the way like to some another deep cut character they'd probably use later on. But I think Wally is probably the best bet, and we know the Justice League is around, so the Flash you have to assume is somewhere. So I think Wally.
I think it was mentioned in the first season. I'm pretty sure the Flash.
You know what could be interesting is. I don't know how this would work exactly, but Wally becomes the Flash. Could he be the Flash in the Justice League right now?
That's
like
he's grown.
He's grown.
Point.
Yeah, he's grown up.
But to be fair, though, Justice League is a bunch of 60-year-olds.
So well, we don't know the exact roster. Do you think Barry Allen's just like 70 years old?
Probably. He's like.
I think that's. I don't think it's like a. I don't think that's like a. Yeah, I don't think that's like out of the realm of possibility that Wally grew up and he's the one who like stayed around and joined the Justice League. Because a lot in a lot of this stuff, in a lot of these iterations, like I'm mainly speaking like something like Young Justice, where like these kids would grow up. They have a lot of time jumps in that show, and the ones, some of them get older, like Zatanna. She joined the Justice League, like in between the 5 years of the first season and the second season. So like she grew up, she became a hero in her own right and became a hero. And we know Barry died in. I mean, we can't assume that Crisis has happened already because we there's no way to know, but it's possible Barry Allen died at some point in this universe and Wally West took up the mantle.
Yeah, man. Or he retired. He did something that Bruce Wayne should have done and retired.
Because they're all so old. Jesus. How do you think it's just like everyone else just ages really slowly because they're all superpowered?
To be fair, that could be it. And then Bruce Wayne's all like.
Because I'm sure Superman still looks like Superman.
But when he puts on the suit, it's like an exosuit. It's like a diaper too.
I don't know. He's just an old man. He's
not
man.
He's not extremely old, so we're kind of being mean, but he's definitely on the older
he's
side.
not in fighting shape. Like when you watch Game of Thrones, Ian Glenn, he's a fantastic actor, wonderful actor. I loved him as Jorah on Game of Thrones, but on Game of Thrones he was old. Everyone was like, "Yo, man, you're old. You can't protect the queen. You're an old man." He was one of the best sword fighters in the world, but like everyone's like, "You're old as hell. Like you need some fresh blood to protect Khaleesi." And it was like, well, I love her. He secretly loved her the whole time. But but he's an old man, and now he's even older.
Yeah. I mean, look, to be fair, didn't we hear that he did some of his own stunts / fights?
I mean, I'm sure he's an in shape man. He is like he's not a big old man. But
if he actually suits up, we'll see.
I don't
there's
think
an episode titled Bruce Wayne. Perhaps we'll see one.
Listen, I think he could suit up, but that doesn't mean he's doing the stunts in the scenes.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, look, he wasn't in this episode. That the worst episode of the season. Well, I'm not gonna say the worst. It's almost.
No, I'm not gonna say it's. Listen, it wasn't as bad as the worst episodes of season 1. Like last 3 or 4 episodes of season 1, those are bad episodes. This wasn't a bad episode, but after last week, it's just kind of a bummer. It's not. I'm not like, oh man, this has ruined the season. It's just like, I wish they would have gone somewhere else with this.
Yeah, but it's the stuff that worked in the last episode still works here. They just did other things that didn't.
There was just a lot of choppy stuff, and I mean, in all, it could have been just some choices they made, director-wise or in the editing bay, just a couple things that were moved around that looked weird. Could have changed the episode entirely, but we got what we got. But I'm still hopeful. I don't have any issues with it.
I do want to bring something up. I think I just remembered that we heard, we kind of confirmed this, of course, but we heard that they're not interested in doing speedsters for the show, just because it's apparently someone thinks they're overdone.
I mean, listen, the Flash show has 1 million speedsters. Mm-hmm. There is a world where Wally West fits into this show. I mean, Donna had super speed today. This week.
It wasn't the thing.
Yes, it wasn't at the extent. It wasn't the extent of the Flash
to be there.
Right. It doesn't even have these. Well, right. That effect did not look good. And And, I mean, obviously, this show is not one that like lends itself to powers. They've struggled with the power stuff through the first 2 seasons.
Definitely.
Starfire stuff did not look great. A lot of Raven stuff did not look good in the first season. Donna stuff this week definitely did not look good. Dr. Light looked decent though. I will say Dr. Light looked decent,
Yeah,
but they
Dr.
weren't. It wasn't on
Light's
like a big scale. It was just kind of like
Yeah.
bright lights being thrown.
We'll see
So-
Superboys. I want to see how they handle that.
Right, but Superboy doesn't have the heat vision off the cuff, so
Yeah.
it's mostly just super strength, and like he can't fly either.
Maybe he'll jump.
At first.
I hope
He'll
I'll
leap,
jump.
but I assume, but come on, they barely like Beast Boy has changed what once this season.
Yeah, he hasn't changed.
3
at all.
episodes,
He could have
he's
taken
changed
Dr. Light
once?
out by himself.
Like they really underuse it. Clearly, the effects budget on this show is not. I mean, the sets are really good. The actors are great, for the most part. So it's obvious that they don't have a lot of VFX budget, and I mean, you could see that in Trigon. Like it was not good.
To be fair, this is a 13 episode season. This is like the first.
Oh, absolutely,
full one.
absolutely. But
So we'll
but we
see
are,
what's- what
it's 3
happens.
episodes in, so we have a decent sample size to look at. So it's not like we're going off of just one
Yeah, yeah.
episode, but.
We'll
But
see.
the VFX are rough, and they're having rough times with the superpowers. I mean, the hand-to-hand stuff is it's quality. It's good stuff. But there wasn't a lot of that this episode, except for Jason, which was the best part of the episode. So that's saying something.
We'll see. But I
Alright.
think that's pretty much it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, decent episode. Still hopeful. Excited for next week. More past, stuff from the past. More flashbacks. Hopefully, a little more Deathstroke stuff. A little more backstory. And I'll be good to go if that's the case.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we can really hope for. I think that's pretty much it. What do you guys think, though? Because I will say last week we got some comments. We got a lot of opinions, and it seemed like people really did love episode 2. Probably their favorite episode. I think we can all agree there.
Yeah, but if you guys have a different opinion, if you love this episode, like let us know. Like we had a lot of different comments in the first episode in the comment section about some people really enjoyed the episode and said they enjoyed season 1 more so than we did. So let us know if you have a differing opinion.
Yeah, exactly. And then we might read some off. I was actually going to read them off, but I forgot. So next week.
Yeah, we'll do it next week. If you leave some this week, we'll try to read them off next week at the beginning of the show. So Marcos, where can they find you on social media?
On Twitter, you can follow me at BusyOver9, and that's pretty much it. You don't have to follow Jackson. It's all good.
You can follow me at JacksonH67, and follow the page at Full Circle Cine.
And follow on Facebook too. Full
We've
Circle Cinema.
launched a Facebook page, so please go ahead and like that, and we really appreciate it. So yeah, you can check out the site fullcirclecinema.com all week, every day.
Like and
And
subscribe.
stories
please.
going up. Yep. Like and subscribe here.
Don't dislike. There's 1 or 2 people that have been doing it.
Yeah, why are you guys disliking? What's
yeah.
the deal? I'd rather you just leave a comment, tell us why you disliked it. Tell me the truth. That's what I'd like to know. Tell me why. Be constructive. Don't just dislike it. It's cool to dislike things, but
right.
I'm always right. I'll tell you that. All right, so we'll catch you guys next week.